Did you start to turn the corner and maybe give Chris Greer the benefit of the doubt when the Dolphins were beating all of these schmink teams? If you looked at the list of quarterbacks that they defeated during that stretch, it was all backups.
Yes.
It was guys that hadn't even made the practice squad in the preseason that got re-signed.
Yep.
I think even some of these guys might have played for the Heat. Nick Wallenda, unbelievable. What was his latest that he was like walking across two buildings in New York City, which would be much more dangerous if you were on the ground. If you look at what's going on in New York City, would it not? Would you be on a tightrope crossing, say, Madison Avenue? Of course, no matter how treacherous, no matter how windy. That still is one of my visions that I will never be able to erase when Osteen was making out with Nick Wallenda's wife while he was saying, "Pray for me, Joel." And he's sitting on the side of the canyon there going, I don't think you're going to make it back, Nick. You know, the Lord has chosen a path for you, and it's not necessarily a favorable one right now in terms of crossing the canyon.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
On a beautiful Thursday morning here in South Florida, where we originate from on Ion Channel. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeff Deforrest, along with one Mike Lubitz. And we welcome you to the Defo Show. And today, of course, we feature the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. So we will have a session of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, I believe, and I get a little nervous there because I saw that little technical difficulties. Please stand by thing flash here on the computer. And I thought, wait a minute, we can't be having problems with gurgles already. We just worked very hard throughout the week to straighten all of that out so we could conduct a full-blown session of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, which we intend to do. We're going to get that underway, Louie, at about 7:30?
Yes, sir.
The Trivia Challenge?
Half an hour in.
All right, don't sound so excited about it. I mean, you have become much more studious looking with the glasses that you're donning here on the show. And there were many comments that when did Lubie become an intellectual all of a sudden?
Never.
And they heard you. Then they heard you screaming, about Chris Greer incoherently about how he's got to go. And then your dad had him fired yesterday.
Yes.
Which he's a big sports fan. That turned out to be untrue. And what's the first thing that pops up when I turn on my computer this morning? And it's amazing because we got undressed on the air by that guy Tillman Fertitta. Owner of the Houston Rockets, who had a book out. We have the guy on just to shill for his book, basically. I mean, essentially, that's the only reason we have this guy on the show. He's got a book out. We figure, okay, he owns a professional sports team. Houston Rockets, kind of an interesting situation with the Rockets. They were always knocking on the door there with James Harden. They couldn't quite get over the proverbial hump. They would lose in 7 games. Harden would disappear in Game 7 of the conference final series, and they'd be back to the drawing board again. And Harden said, hey, I want out of here. And that seems to be a pretty common theme when you're talking about the city of Houston for some reason. Everybody wants out. Everybody wants. Bagwell and Biggio would have wanted out if they were around today. Even though, really, people didn't dive too deeply into the whole idea that Jeff Bagwell was maybe doing a little bit of the juice there. Lubie, what do you think? A little juice, Jeff Bagwell?
A little? Sure, we'll go with a little.
We're not talking apple or orange, my friend.
Exactly.
We're talking Victor Conti time there. Hey, I got a delivery coming from Balco Labs. All right, great. Wonder what that could be.
Oh, please.
Anyway, so the first thing that pops up on my computer is a picture of a dumbfounded looking. I mean, they always find a picture that makes the owner of a team that's imperiled look
100%.
Completely idiotic, like he's absolutely as clueless as a man could be. This is a guy that put together Hudson freaking Yards in New York, one of the biggest New York construction projects ever. And I don't know, did he make all of his money in New York real estate? Was that his deal?
Most of it, yeah. Real estate's his thing. He's like
Is there elbowing old Donnie Boy out of the way? Listen, Donnie, I know you don't have any money. I do. So he made himself. I mean, you have to respect any self-made guy, I guess, that did it legitimately. I don't know. Did he have to? Are their bodies buried in trash compactors somewhere with Stephen Ross? As was speculated about Wayne Huizenga. Well, he was in the trash business.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think, Wayne? A couple of bodies buried somewhere along the way? I don't know. May he rest in peace.
Waste management.
Waste management. I
mean, come on. Yeah, I've watched enough mafia movies.
That's what we have here, though. We have waste management with the Miami Dolphins organization. We've been talking about it the last few days on the show. Now, if you're in another city and you're thinking, who gives a flying one about the Dolphins? I guess, I mean, you could use them as an example because this Tillman Fertitta, I tried to graciously get him into the interview
Yep.
by sort of throwing him a compliment,
Yes.
even though I don't know him at all. And for all I know, I mean, he's a horrible owner. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it doesn't seem like the Houston Rockets organization is particularly well run, does it?
Oh, no.
They had that incident with the GM, who's now at Philadelphia, who came out. What is his name? Maury.
Yeah,
And he came out and said, "Hey, you know what? This China thing is a joke," which it is. I mean, I was just reading a little blip, a small editorial commentary in, of all places, the New York Post. You'll find that surprising. I picked up the Post this morning, and I mean, is it a disgrace that they're holding the Olympics in Beijing
Yes.
while all of this stuff is going on? And as Americans, we're supposed to tune in and go, "Ha ha! Look at that, the figure skater." Doing another pirouette, and forget about all the stuff that's going on there in that country. I guess you might be able to make that inference about a lot of countries, but not to the extreme that we're seeing in China in terms of human atrocities and just crimes against humanity. What do you think, Lubie? I mean, are you inclined to have little or less interest in the Olympic Games because they're taking place in China, or
It's
as
not.
a sports fan, it doesn't matter to you if they're in Kazakhstan or North Korea or anywhere else. You're just going to watch because you want to see, who wins the pairs figure skating.
I probably wouldn't be my first thought, but it does bother me. Like the whole Qatar thing, the fact that we know hundreds, if not thousands, of people have died trying to make the soccer stadium
Yeah.
is a little douchey. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Underground soccer stadiums, generally not necessarily conceptually sound, you would have to think.
Oh, in the desert, there is some stuff in the middle of the desert.
I'm smiling, but you know what? It is troubling, don't you think? That
Yes, 100%.
you're paying homage. The sporting world is paying homage to China. While I was just looking, they have these quarantine things set up. Somebody got a picture of them for people with COVID, and it's literally like they put these guys in one of the most obnoxious and torturous kind of prison incarceration situations that you could possibly ever imagine yourself being in, and throw on top of that you're deathly ill.
Yep.
Or possibly so. Although I don't know that the Omicron is killing people as much as we saw in the past year when COVID-19 first came out. My son's whole family, COVID-19, Lubie.
Yep. My sister, that happened like a month ago.
COVID, yeah. They go on a vacation to North Carolina, where you were, right? In the mountains? Oh, you were in Tennessee.
No, we were in North Carolina. That's interesting. Where did they go? Because it was actually really, I mean, I guess even that's the thing.
I guess they went to Tennessee.
Yes.
That's what it was.
We
went to
North
North Carolina.
North Carolina was really good with COVID. They wore masks. They made you wear masks everywhere. People wearing masks outside.
Well, even hillbillies in Tennessee, I can assure you.
I don't know.
They say there's some kind of weird flu going around. Okay, great.
Weird.
Listen, Elmo. Put the banjo down and shut up and go to work.
Weird flu.
We shouldn't be like that. I mean, I'm sure Nashville is a very advanced and
Memphis,
cosmopolitan type of city. So
Yeah.
you got country music there, all kinds of crazy stuff. But a lot of concern about the Beijing Olympics. The NHL kind of used that, I think, as an excuse. Plus, the virus to keep their players from going over there. They hate that when that happens. The players love it. That they all have a lot of international pride and pride in their countries, and they love playing in the Olympic Games. And players were upset, but the league very happy because they don't have to risk some guy getting injured
Exactly.
in an exhibition, essentially. And then on top of that, they don't have to lose all of that time playing hockey, which they've already been compromised by the virus already. So, they found anybody that can find a ready-made excuse to get out of this thing, they're out of it.
Yeah.
And that's the way that it's going. Anyway, getting back to this whole Fertitta thing. So we throw an innocuous question at the guy and you just phrase it in this fashion. And those of you that remember this interview, which it sticks out for me because rarely do you have a guy. Sometimes you're going to lay a joke on somebody. They don't know your style. And, whatever it is, however you get into it, you don't know what the response is necessarily going to be. Every now and then a guy's going to take exception with something you said or misunderstand the way that you phrased a question and fire back. And this guy supposedly is a cantankerous, ornery SOB to begin with. No, I didn't know that. I don't have any reason to have any ill feelings about Tillman Fertitta. The guy's going to come on the show. You figure he's going to give you 10 minutes of jolly interview talk, maybe get something out of it in terms of what's going on with their organization or the NBA in general or a particular player.
They
or
were like
coach.
for the title, the Rockets. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Of the thing.
And so I mentioned, or suggested that, hey, most guys, for some reason, and this is not an uncommon thought. It's not like I came up with it. That are very, overwhelmingly successful in business, successful to the extent that the common man can't even imagine or dream of.
Yeah.
And most guys that are in that situation, they become involved in sports as owners, and you'd figure as CEOs, they're going to be very effective. And because of a couple of things, first of all, that there's just a lot of arbitrary stuff that goes on in the sporting world that you can't account for. Luck is involved. A lot of different things are in play. A lot of instinctive things about people are in play where it's not just a business formula necessarily, although a lot of owners would like to think that it is. And so if you don't have any gut instinct for it, there's a good chance you're going to look like a bozo. And a lot of owners end up in that fashion where they're perceived as giants of industry, and at the same time, they are literally mouse shit when it comes to owning a team and having any instincts for what their fan base is all about. Now, they're all making money, so, that kind of compensates for the ineptitude. Stephen Ross is not losing money on this Miami Dolphin organization, I can assure you. When he sells the team, it'll be worth like $100 million more than he paid for it. And what's wrong with that, right? If you could plunk down right now $100 million on anything and know that you're going to double your money inside of, maybe 5-6 years, how great is that? Wow, Dave Gurgly popping up there on the screen. So he's about ready to go, and he's got a whole new system. Look at Gurgles. Can you pop him in here for a second? Gurgles, how are you?
I did that.
Doing fine. How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, my God. Can we hear you? And you can hear us, and there's no echo. There's no feedback. Don't tell me we're going to be able to do this.
Anything for the good of the cause.
Frankie, we did it, man. Frank Fiore will be a happy man about all of this because, we haven't exactly been coming through in the clutch here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. All right, we're going to get to Gurgles in just a few minutes. Just finishing up here. So this Fertitta guy, I say, hey, how is it that owners, most owners get into sports and even though they were brilliant in business, they end up looking like bozos. And a guy, he got pissed. You could sense it right away. There was like a moment's pause, and then all of a sudden he says, well, how many DJs own sports franchises?
Wasn't that weird?
How many DJs? What, did Wolfman Jack buy a team? I don't know. Maybe Doc Reno, one of the local guys here in South Florida. He has enough money. He's got like 18 different jobs.
He got weirdly offended. You were trying to say, look, you're the rare guy. All these super duper billionaires struggle, and you found a way. How? And he's like, what does that mean?
Oh, no, it got nasty. And then it was real terse from there. Maybe we can cut out the Gurgles throat clearing there for a second here as we finish up these points here.
I love you, Gurgles.
Gurgles leads the league in throat clearing. And this is one of the weird things about our setup because we don't have control over everybody's microphones. And even I am remiss in turning the thing off during breaks and things. So you hear a lot of literally gurgling and choking. And Segredo yesterday, I thought he was snorting cocaine on the show. Did you not think so? We know that's not true of Tony. Tony is not the type that you would ever suspect. I would venture to say that Tony Segredo has never done a drug in his life.
Probably not. Yeah, I would say no. He'll drink. He loves a nice glass of wine, but no, he's pretty straight as it gets.
You're not going to catch Tony raging drunk in a corner at some party going, this is really a good time, isn't it? Where are we? Or suspect that he's, blown out on cocaine or, taken an exorbitant amount of marijuana just to ease the pain of his social anxiety. It's probably not true with Tony. But yesterday, right, with all of the sound effects that he was doing, the regurgitation and all of this stuff, what is that, crepitation, when you're making all kinds of bizarre sounds? And he comes on and he says, oh, no, I'm fine.
It was a break, and I left him on by accident, and you got to see him in all his glory.
He was freezing his fucking ass off. That's what it was.
That's what it is.
Come on, Tony. He wouldn't admit it, though, man.
It's like -10.
Right?
Yeah, it's brisk. It's like brisk.
Brisk. It's like -12 there in Vermont. So we're happy to be here. It's supposed to be a beautiful day here in South Florida. I hope you guys are enjoying it. You see the El Turistas in town, and I admire them for coming here. I really do. Now, here's a good one for you, Lubie. This is, I don't even think this is a long shot. I believe this is going to happen. Now, it's up to me and Jersey Kyle to make it happen. But we're out last night at a place called Billy Jack's Shack.
Okay.
Lauderdale by the Sea. Nice place. They're known for their burgers, but they actually have a couple of really good salads that I like.
Nice.
And so I'm in there with Jersey Kyle. We used to hang there. We used to have a guys' night out on Thursdays with our friend Piscataway Ray. And he dropped out. He was too much of a culinary freak. He should be hanging out with Mike Mayo. Although Mayo likes this place, the Gambling Gourmet, and we do too. A very friendly atmosphere, casual. It's nice. And so we're in there, and we run into a friend of ours, a guy named Mark of Mark and Diane fame. And Mark made a killing importing like weird stuff out of his home base in Wisconsin. All right. He started a company a long time ago. He mortgaged everything that he had. He tapped down all his credit cards, and he scored big, man. The guy's worth millions. And a young guy and one of these MacGyver types that is good at doing virtually everything. So we run into Mark, and we know that he has season tickets for the Green Bay Packers, all right? 'Cause he's a huge Packer fan, and he had a company that I guess, had season tickets there, as difficult as they may be to acquire.
It's impossible.
So we're just joking, and we say, hey, Mark, you know what? If the Packers go to the championship game, can we use your seats for the game? We'll go. We'll fly up to Wisconsin and, or Chicago and drive over to Wisconsin. I've never been to Lambeau Field. So what does he do? He gets right on the phone, and he calls this company. He sold the company, but he still has ties. And he says, yeah, we got the tickets. So if the Packers go to the NFC title game, which means they just have to win one game at Lambeau, then we're going. You're not going, Louie.
What?
You're not going, Gurgles, but I'll be going with Jersey Kyle, and we'll have seats.
Still? Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Lambeau Field for the NFC Championship game.
Oh, my God.
So that's going to be great. So we're looking forward to that. I don't know who they're going to play in the first round because they're not in the first round, obviously. I mean, they have a bye, but their first round will be a home game at Lambeau against the lowest seed that's still left in the hunt. So pretty good chance, I would think, that they could prosper and prevail in that first game, and that'll put me at Lambeau Field in the frozen tundra in February.
It'll be end of January by then. End of January.
It'll actually be February. It'll be the first week of February. I think that game is taking place because you have now end of January is 2 weeks away, so that divisional game or whatever that is would be, the first round for Green Bay would be the last week of January, so it'll be the first week of February. You imagine? That is going to be an ice bath if there ever was one. I keep picturing Leslie Visser on the sideline there trying to do that post-game commentary as the Giants in Green Bay were playing, and it was like 20 below. There was frost on her hat. That was great. Lips literally like stuck together. How'd it go? Yeah, it went good. All right, we're going to get into a little Dave Gurgles Gurgly, the coaching search for the Dolphins, and it's kind of crazy, Lubie. Your guy is not mentioned anywhere, not just with the Dolphins, but like of the 7 openings in the coaching ranks. I don't see your man Eric Bieniemy
at all
mentioned anywhere. Is it? Oh, what happened? Did they lose interest in this guy? I mean, is he that bad at interviewing that they just said, hey, forget about it. It ain't even worth talking to this cat?
100%.
Because he was the poster child for the worthlessness of the Rooney Rule. Where he couldn't buy himself a job no matter what, even though everybody raved about what he did with the Chiefs. I mean, their offense was putting up 50 points a game. Mahomes had become quickly brilliant under this guy's tutelage and leadership. And, while a lot of people would credit Andy Reid, probably deservedly so, because the guy is pretty creative when it comes to offense, Bieniemy was getting a lot of credit.
Yeah, he has to be involved. Like, what is he doing there otherwise?
I was looking at the list of candidates, even for the Dolphins job. Vance Joseph, Cards offensive coordinator, the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
Brian Daboll. Maybe you could pop that mic down there for a second there, Dave Gurgles Gurgly there. Are you going to be okay for the show? He does. He always led the league in throat clearing. Brian Daboll, Bill's offensive coordinator. He's a hot commodity. A lot of people are trying to get a conversation.
Well, he's done a great job with Josh Allen in that offense.
Mike McDaniel, I'm not familiar with, but he's the offensive coordinator for the 49ers.
He's a Sean McVay guy. So far, the Sean McVay guys have done really well. Matt LaFleur.
Dan Quinn seems like retread material to me. He's now the Cowboys DC, and interesting candidate that all of a sudden popped on the scene and is highly popular, and you're thinking this guy's likely to get a job. Kellen Moore, who was he not like a backup quarterback in the NFL? And
he was great for Boise State, and then in the NFL he didn't do anything, and very young went on to becoming a coach. He learned early he wasn't going to make it in the NFL, so he went on to being a coach. And he's an
offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and they look like they have a lot of spark at different times, so we shall see. But it could be me and and Jersey Kyle and me, Lambeau Field, maybe Green Bay, Dallas, or something like that. for the
That'd be
NFC Championship
Oh, my
game.
God. If you got like a Green Bay Dallas or Green Bay Niners, like an old school NFC
Th-
battle.
These there
and
aren't
the
even seats there
Eagles,
though.
Green Bay Eagles. There's no seats.
Mark was telling us that you sit like on an aluminum bench.
Oh Jesus! In like 5 degrees or -10.
5 degrees, yeah. You're hoping 5 degrees would be like cozy. What are you talking about? So dress warmly, I guess, would be the advice there. You think I'll make it through that game? I haven't been in like really cold weather in a long, long time. Well,
You were
Minneapolis,
okay
I
in
think, was the
Minnesota.
last
You
time.
actually handled it pretty well. So
I'm okay with cold.
Have
Yeah.
your layers.
Yeah.
You'll be
I'm one of those guys to be running outside barefoot with no shirt on, like the Chicago Bears logo written on my chest. All right, we're going to play the trivia challenge. You have the phone number, Lubie? Can you give it out?
Yes,
Give out the phone number here.
954-417-0070.
954-417-0070. Gurgles is ready. He's standing by here, and we're going to get the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge going in just a few minutes. We have the Landlubbers Gift Certificate we're giving away, and also a special guest at 8:30. We'll have the Trivia Challenge going until 8:30 today, and then the great Jim Larranaga, head coach of the University of Miami basketball team, which I don't know. Did we jinx him? I mean, that was a pretty tight game against Florida State. They're on the road. They just beaten Duke on the road in a similar type ball game where it came down to the final couple of seconds. They managed to stave off Duke's attempt to take the lead in that game and or tie it, as they held off Duke with a couple of shots at the buzzer, and both missed. And this time, though, they sent a guy to the free throw line. And Jim Larranaga's 9-game winning streak and undefeated record in the conference, he was 5-0 in the ACC, unfortunately went up in a very thin veil of smoke.
Yep.
In that particular ball game. But we'll talk with Jim Larranaga at 8:30 this morning here on the Defo Show. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge coming up next. Once again, you can dial us up, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. Dave Gurgles Gurgley going to join us. The Polyman, as they say, on assignment today. And his assignment is to figure out how to turn on his computer. No, he had I punched the on button. Nothing happened. Just the light came on. No,
That's exactly what happened.
he's fine. He had some business to attend to this morning, and he has vowed to return next week on a permanent basis and will never miss another show again. So, all of our days are numbered, though. I mean, Gurgles, me, Polyman. Gurgles is in the best shape of all of us, but
I was gonna say, don't even mention Gurgles.
yeah, we're all on borrowed time. I mean, Polyman and me, certainly. That would be the case. That's going to be the name of the boat once we make this big score in the gambling game.
Time.
Yeah, borrowed time, because that's what we'll be on, the boat and figuratively as well. All right, coming back with more. Hialeah Park, a great place to go. Gurgles would agree with this as he clears all that phlegm out of his throat.
It's gone.
He
It's
would
gone.
It's on. Walk into Hialeah Park.
and have himself a blast. I mean, because everybody loves it there. The Champion simulcasting room is great. Racing, again, of course, cranking up. New York, Gulfstream Park is going. Santa Anita, you have racing fairgrounds all around the country. Oaklawn Park is in action. Just great. So a lot of stimulation there for the senses, as you can go screen to screen, or you can be very patient and, kind of astute player and watch your money and manage it correctly and maybe come out of there thinking, you know what, I'm here to try to win, not just to screw around. So, but I like it. I mean, screen-to-screen action is always going to be my game. It can be costly, it can be lucrative, but it's always great at the Champion Simulcasting Room. The casino, top-notch, Steve Calabro, Jackpot City again. Hialeah, considering, I think the new mayor was considering a name change to Jackpot City in honor of what's going on in the casino at Hialeah Park. So you can win money in there, and that's a good thing, man. I was in another local casino the other day, just trying to kill an hour or something, and it's rough, man. When the machines don't pay at all, like you barely even get a cherry once in a while, forget about it. It's like going to some remote outpost in Las Vegas and trying to win money. It doesn't happen. Hialeah Park, they have those machines tweaked up to the point where people are winning big jackpots all the time. Food and drink is great. The boxing's coming up on January 28th. Check the HialeahPark.com website, and you'll see all the details and how to get tickets for that, or you can visit the Hialeah box office. It's going to be a sensational card, January 28th at Hialeah Park as boxing returns to Hialeah, and that's going to be a dynamite night of entertainment. So make sure you're on board for that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to seeing you guys there at Hialeah Park. All right, we're coming back with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge Get ready. Dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. You do have to have a little bit of patience because, with the progress that we've made on the show, we still, at this point, have the one phone line available. So if you get a busy signal, that means you're close. So just keep dialing, and you'll be able to get through and play as many people as we can with Dave until 8:30 this morning. Jim Larranaga, head coach of the UM basketball team, coming your way at 8:30 with us here on the Defo Show. He's Mike Lubitz. I'm Jeff Deforrest. Dave Gurgly joins us next here on Ion Channel in a moment. Now that.
The time.
I almost said 940 wins. Popped into my head automatically there. It is 7:26.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village at Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. Place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
No worries. Defo is here now on 9.
All right, welcome back to the show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz. It's the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on this fine Thursday here on Jack Namer's Ion Channel, man. Amy, Jack Namer, Brad Schiller, all doing a fine job for us here, backing us up and making sure that everything goes okay from both a technical and from a growth standpoint. Let's put it that way. Things are going crazy here at Ion Channel, so we're very happy to be a part of that. Dave Gurgly joins us here, and Gurgles is located at what is no longer Shula's in Miami Lakes. You look good, David. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fine. It's actually Miami Lakes Golf Club, and that's what it was when it was built in 1963. Nice. The Shula's name was involved with naming rights for so many years. They mutually parted ways in the Graham Company, so now we're Miami Lakes Golf Club, Miami Lakes Athletic Club, and Miami Lakes Hotel on Main, if you will. But as far as the Dolphins head coach, just to weigh in, it seems to me, you know the pattern. When they get a defensive coach, the next one is usually an offensive one. So the two names I came up with, unfortunately, one of them has passed away, are Don Rickles and Gilbert Gottfried.
I'm not sure Gottfried was overwhelmingly offensive. He was just strange to look at. We had him on the show a couple of times. He loved Lubie. Absolutely loved Lubie. And we asked him, we put Lubie's voice, together with Gilbert Gottfried, and people couldn't distinguish who was who. It was like that time that we had the dueling Higgies with, remember, Steve Marino was the guy's name. He was kind of a contemporary of yours in the hosting at restaurants deal. Where
I remember Steve.
Yeah, very good guy. And he did a lot of dead-on impressions. And oddly enough, one was of Mark Higgs. And so we had Mark Higgs
Wow.
on the show, and we had Steve Marino doing his impression of Mark Higgs, and we had people kind of in the same fashion that we conduct the finals of the trivia challenge, trying to figure out who was the real Mark Higgs. And by consensus, Marino was deemed to be the real Mark Higgs, even though Higgy was sitting right next to me.
And by the way, if you do go to the Green Bay game, you'd probably want to fly into Appleton, Wisconsin. That'd be your airport to check out.
Oh yeah. Now who flies there though? I can't imagine there are too many.
We've had
direct
fans
flights
go
to
from
Appleton.
Shula's in the past. We've had Dolphin fans from Shula's in the past fly right into Appleton, maybe less than an hour away, I think, from Green Bay.
Have you been to Lambeau?
I have not. But I'm looking at a bet in Vegas right now for the Super Bowl. What odds can I get for an all Pennsylvania Super Bowl? Eagles and Steelers.
Oh, good.
I'll book that for you.
15,000 to 1? I don't
I would imagine it wouldn't matter. Infinity wouldn't be enough to stimulate me to make that bet. Although stranger things have happened, right? Nobody believed that Jacksonville was going to beat Indianapolis, and that final game of the regular season could boil down to a kneel down and a tie. And sure enough, it would have, if not for the lunacy of Brandon Staley, the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, who said,
couldn't figure
I'm not
that one
going to
out
accept
either.
this automatic berth to the playoffs. Let's call a timeout, see if we can stop them.
The Raiders have literally admitted that they were kneeling. Stupid.
I mean, just a perfectly anticipated, bizarre scenario that the final play would be a kneel down to bring about a tie in a ball game after Jacksonville had beaten Indianapolis. How about that parlay? We suggested that last week.
Yes, you did. And everyone laughed.
People laughed. I mean, howling in the streets. People, I could hear them outside where I'm broadcasting from. You've lost it, Defo. But now
I can see the script in the Super Bowl right now. Eagles and Steelers in the Super Bowl, and it comes down to a shootout between Ben Roethlisberger and our man Minshew. And Minshew beats him 7-6 in the finals.
Gardner Minshew sounds like he should be on some show that's about rescuing dolphins or something, right?
PBS, yeah.
PBS.
The other one that worked really well was Dueling Shaps. Our friend Frank Miramonti, of course, a great race caller, does a zillion dynamite impressions. And he originated the Jeremy Schaap impression. I don't know if you remember, this was years ago. We were doing the first team with Joe Rose and Steve Goldie Goldstein. And I introduced Miramonti as a would-be Jeremy Schaap. And the gig was that Schaap would start out, and he didn't sound exactly like Schaap, but close enough, because Schaap had that weird way of saying ESPN.
Yes.
Every time he signed off, it would be like, I'm Jeremy Schaap, ESPN. So Miramonti picked up on that, as all good impressionists do. They pick up on some, weird characteristic and exaggerate it. And, sure enough, we had him on as a character, and people believed it really was Jeremy Schaap for a long, long time. And so the bit was, the absurdity was that he would get more and more insane every time he came on. He would start out like normal and then start saying literally things that were so outrageous that you would have to think that they would take this guy away in a net. And so it turns out Jeremy Schaap had written a book. It might have even been Cinderella Man, which was a book that Jeremy Schaap wrote, although the movie was not based on that book. And Russell Crowe, by the way, fine job playing James J. Braddock in that movie, one of my favorites of all time. So anyway, Schaap is coming on to promote a book, and it turns out he's a very cool guy, Jeremy Schaap. You wouldn't necessarily think so, would you? I mean, he looks like kind of a stiff.
Yeah, he looks stiff.
Very cool
the
guy.
Closest I got when we had Super Bowls down here in the 80s and 90s, Dick Schaap hosted some parties at Shula's, and his dad was a delightful man, really great guy.
One of those old school guys, right? Be hanging out with like Jimmy Breslin and Larry Merchant or something, and Toist and a few. So Jeremy Schaap is aware that we have this character that does impressions of Jeremy Schaap when he calls in to book his guest appearance on the show, right? So and he's cool with it. And he agrees to do Dueling Shaps, where people would try to determine who is the real Jeremy Schaap.
Wow.
And once again, the audience completely befuddled. The real Jeremy Schaap, they're cursing him out. They're going, "You're not Jeremy Schaap, you fucking phony." I mean, if they could have cursed, that would have been a thing. I mean, they're just absolutely appalled that this guy would come on and pretend to be Jeremy Schaap. And it was Schaap, which was great.
Wow. Well, I've often thought if you had a an Iron Eagle, who's a great guest on your show.
Yes.
If you
Oh,
had an
tremendous.
Iron Eagle dueling Iron Eagles, you could use Eric Reed. Their voice sounds so similar to me. Our Heat
Little bit.
broadcaster.
You can probably set it up.
Yeah, if you put them
Eric's got-
side by
Eric's got
side.
kind of a unique voice. Yeah, it's possible. That might
Or
work.
how about Lubie and Arnold Stang?
Might
We're
work
going back
also.
a ways there, so.
Well, and you know that Miramati originated the Polyman impression. Nobody was doing Polyman
Exactly.
impressions until Miramati started doing it, and then he even did like his ex-wife, which was great, who had a French accent, and he would chime
Yes,
in as her in the middle of these Polyman dissertations. So it was always great. All right, yesterday, Gurgles, I'm doing the food show there with Mike Mayo on 1470 here in town, Odyssey Radio app, if you want to catch it. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. So Mayo's got he scores a couple of tickets to the Fort Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival they give away.
Oh,
The grand tasting where all the big chefs are going to be and everything.
Yeah.
So this is the big wazoo. This is the thing you want to go to. And we're on, WWNN, not exactly a station that is going to be, bombarded with telephone calls. As most of the shows there are, it's all barter shows. And, most of the guys are talking about, well, you know what? I can really help you improve your credit score. And it's a lot of, infomercial type of stuff. So I'm a little leery that we may not get any calls on this thing for the trivia question. But he asked me to come up with a trivia question that, related to food. And I thought this was too easy, right? Everybody knows this, right? Like what sports like related food trivia question. What did Wade Boggs eat
Oh, I was going to say
before every game? That's easy.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I was going to ask in the aforementioned Cinderella Man, what was it that that Paul Giamatti, as his manager, gave to James J. Braddock, played by Russell Crowe, before the fight when he fought the first guy on his big comeback when he started mowing down all these contenders. He has his boxing gloves on and he shoves his face into a bowl of what? And that would have been a question. And it was hash, because he later said, imagine after he knocks the guy out, if I had had a couple of steaks before the fight. So that was rejected. And the question became, and boy, you talk about a gimme. What iconic sports figure in South Florida had a restaurant and then came out with something, and the catchphrase for it was, "It's perfect seasoned," and that was, of course, Don Shula, right? I mean, what else could it be?
And
the first guy got it,
was
which was good. Yeah,
right.
the guy from the station
The Boggs
called
question
in.
was easy, wasn't it? The answer, Margot.
What's that now?
What the Boggs question wasn't the answer, Margot?
Margot.
I missed what you said.
Margot.
Well, what did Boggs eat before?
Oh, Boggs.
each game?
Oh, yeah. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Margot Adams. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, now that we're on YouTube,
Yeah,
you can do
yeah,
that
that
stuff, I guess.
The reason I went right over my head is because Gurgles, this is not your style.
No, it isn't.
Choking up.
It isn't, but you started it. What are you doing clearing your throat? Come on, for crying out loud. We're on the air.
You startled me with that response. All right, we're going to get into the game of the trivia challenge, Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We've told you that Hialeah Park is the place to go. Gurgles, you have a bunch of questions, right? And
Yes,
we're going to be
plenty.
ready to roll. You look great. You sound great. What did you do? Did you have the IT guy come out there and take a look at this thing?
Well, it comes to find out that the headphones that I had were the little ones were for an iPhone and not for a computer, because they had the 3 notches on, not the 2. So I brought the guy out. I said, hey, you had the headphones, bring them back. He brought them back. Mike was kind enough to use some of his time, which I know he'll be compensated for, and do a test for me yesterday. Worked great. So we're ready to rock and roll.
All right. So we'll have plenty of time to play the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge once again. When the line is open, you can dial us up, 954-417-0070 here on On Channel, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Coming up in just a few seconds. Don't forget, too, our big plans to be on the road there, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. Those are being formulated and finalized, Lubie. You'll be happy to know.
Nice.
And I believe it's probably going to take place in February after Jimmy Johnson is free from all of his obligations, because
let's do it.
they have just a ton of playoff games. And, of course, Jimmy will be analyzing all of them for Fox Sports. But he'll be happy to analyze a lot of stuff and go through so many different things about his career and the game of football and life in general out of Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill the next time that we're down there. So that's going to be probably mid-February. and looking very much forward to that. Dynamite food down there, just a great scene. Great place if you're looking for somewhere to watch the playoff games and you really want to combine it with kind of a staycation. Check out Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill and the remodeled sports bar there. Just absolutely fantastic. They're huge fans, and now that the Raiders are in, they have rooting interest in this thing because, let's face it, aside from the Dolphins at Jimmy Johnson's, the next big team is the Raiders. Larry Calvano, a big fan, and Dominic Conjemi, a big fan. And so they're going to have that place rocking. So going to be a lot of fun all weekend long with the football games. And it's just a great time anytime to visit Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway, right in the heart. Right there at the north end of Key Largo. Just the first thing you see. There it is on the right. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill as you're coming down from Florida City. All right, we'll come back with Dave Gurgles Gurgley, Mike Lubie Lubitz. I'm Jeff Deforrest, and the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge brought to you by the great people at Hialeah Park. That's cranking up in a moment. Now that. It's 7:42.
It's the Gambling Gourmet for Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of my favorite places. It is old school joint that's serving Spanish and classic continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly setting. It's at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. They're open every day except Sunday for dinner, starting at 5 p.m. You go in there, you see Joey and his better half, Sally. They are giving the greatest in service. And the food, oh my gosh, it's paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, stuffed veal chop. They serve this great, fantastic, warm sourdough bread. Go to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, that the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse. Since day one of old school, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Leslie Visser, a lovely and talented one. I mean, the first woman and for a long time, the only woman, there are now two, in the NFL Hall of Fame. I mean, in there with all of the greats, Johnny U, Joe Willie, all of our favorites, Joe Montana, the great Dan Marino, and Leslie Visser, part of the scene in the NFL Hall of Fame. But what level of distinction is it to be the first guest on our new program? Because I would imagine, Leslie Visser, and by the way, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us here on the program.
Is this an after-school special?
This isn't practice. We're doing it. We're all over the world.
Congratulations to you guys. I want to know. I'm so proud to be your first guest. And, of course, I have a number of things to go over that maybe this time it could be different. You know, isn't that the gambler's creed?
You think we're going to erase the past all at once here in one program? It's impossible.
The modern-day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
All right, morning once again, everybody. Happy to have you with us here on the Defo Show. It's the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on this fine Thursday. Polyman back with us next week and into the distant future. I mean, he's going to be a very steady force here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, or so he claims.
I was going to say, I'm sure.
Going to be there every week, Dave, every week.
Dave Gurgle's Gurgle. He's steady as a rock. He's with us, and he's figured out whatever it was that was preventing him from being able to perform to his usual high standards. Which you be the judge of that, but nonetheless, always comes up with great questions, and we're ready to play the game. Now we have the one phone line operating, so and when somebody's on it, obviously you're going to get a busy signal. But Lenny the Chronic and all of the people out there that follow the show and love to participate, it's 954-417-0070. Just keep hammering away. When you hear somebody hang up, you'll know that line is free, and you'll have the first shot at it. And it kind of takes the place. I mean, it's in conundrum with the random phone scrambler. Would you say, Lubie? The way that the calls are going to fall into place here on the show. So not only do you have the scrambler, which essentially we know there's only one guy on hold, kind of limits its necessity. But you're kind of scrambling yourself by scrambling to get in on that one phone line at 954-417-0070. All right, Gurgles, you ready? We have the Landlubbers Gift Certificate. It's the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. You look great there, superimposed both over Hialeah Park and your office at the newly named Miami Lakes Country Club. Are people confused, by the way? I mean, do they come in there and go, hey, I thought it was booked at Shula's? I mean, how does that work?
Well, there was a big article both in the Miami Laker, which serves about 25,000 people, and in the Herald about the name change. And basically the story is we're just going back to the original name. This course was built in 1963. I opened the Athletic Club from Pennsylvania in 82, and the Athletic Club and the hotel over there in 83. So it's going back to the Miami Lakes name, which is synonymous with class and dignity, and the Graham family who's operated here forever.
All right, sounds good.
No worries.
I wish you all the best and continued success there. Are you like, I guess, the aforementioned Eric Reed? You mentioned Eric Reed, and he is one of like 3 people, I think, that have gone the distance from the origins of the Miami Heat to their current state. I couldn't tell you who the other couple of guys are, but I know Eric Reed is one of them. Tony Fiorentino at one time was one of them, but and I guess he's still employed by the Heat, so he would qualify. Doing things in a different capacity. He's not the color commentator anymore, so doesn't have that highly visible presence. But I believe he's still running camps and things like that in conjunction with the Heat. But were you? are you the lone remaining original employee at Shula's?
Actually, when I opened the Athletic Club in
of 82,
yeah, I opened the Athletic Club in 82. That was my first job here, and one of the aerobics instructors back then, who was a teenager, is still with the company as well, Annette Pryor-Perez. So I think we are probably the 2 oldest there. In the Graham companies, there might be a couple other older ones, but they're up at the farm in Moorhaven, milking cows.
Very nice. I always loved it that to qualify for some kind of agricultural tax break, they had like 1 cow in a field across the street from this, very highly successful, and high trafficked hotel. And, they owned all of Main Street there at the time as well. All right. I did have one trivia question that I was going to ask on the Mike Mayo show. I'm going to throw it out to you, Gurgle, see if you get it. Or I don't know if Lubie is a big Godfather fan, but Godfather movie. And, if you want movies and food, there are zillions of tie-ins right there, including this one, which is in the scene where Michael shoots the cop and, the other mafioso guy that's giving him the business. At the restaurant where they said, trying to veal, it's the best in the city. What was the name of that restaurant? I was going to throw that out there.
Wow.
In the Godfather. What was the name of the restaurant where they said the veal is the best in the city and where that scene took place? Where the gun was in the bathroom and everything?
I'm guessing Lums.
No, they were the ones that had the beer steamed in hot dogs. I saw that guy.
Good.
I saw that guy. What was it? Scott was his name, right? I saw him not that long ago while we were doing the food show there with Mike Mayo. All right. Ready for game number 1. And we're going to go one colossal game today here till about 8:30 when we'll be joined by the UM basketball coach, Jim Larranaga. You're an old school basketball guy, Gurgles, as evidenced by your sincere emotions when Sam Jones passed away. Larranaga brings you back into that era, and yet at the same time, and that's a distant past, at the same time, he's obviously relatable to these young 18, 19-year-old TikTok, kids, which is pretty incredible.
After the great win at Duke, I actually thought that they were going to win that FSU game, and looked like the guy played pretty good defense on that last one where he got the foul called against him. But that
not an illegitimate call, though. You know what he did? He hacked him on the elbow. It was. a foul
I
call, and if it
forgot
occurred
there's
any
an
other time in the
FSU guy
game,
with you.
yeah.
Defo's the one that I would have been fine with them holding the whistle on that one.
They usually let that go. That
Yeah,
kind
'cause
of
at the
play.
end of the game,
But-
the kid got a clean look. Like it actually didn't affect the shot. Like the kid should have hit. It was like a 5-foot floater, and he bricked it. He got bailed out by the ref.
Yeah, it kind of hit his off elbow, non-shooting elbow.
Yep.
But he hit him nonetheless. So they
Yeah,
made
it
the
was-
call, and that was that 9-game winning streak. And you know what? Does it continue to cast shadows over the value of being on this show? Because the minute Larranaga consented to come on the program, like a day later, his winning streak and his undefeated record in the conference went by the wayside.
Nothing to do with it. Just don't give him any horses.
Not lately the way I'm swinging, Gurgles. You don't want any part of that. You want to be riding the back of one Jersey Kyle Martinez, who'll be with us tomorrow. All right, let's get it started here. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Yes.
Once again, 954-417-0070 if you want to play the game, and we're hoping a lot of people will join us here. Lubie's got the Landlubbers Gift Certificate secured here. Now, if you're calling from somewhere outside the country, probably not going to do you a whole lot of good, but it would be reason enough to book a trip here.
Yeah.
To go ahead and take advantage of this gift certificate we're giving away to Landlubbers in Plantation, which is just a great, great place. Everybody loves it. On your way to a Panther game, they're red hot right now. Great stop on your way there, Sunrise and Nob Hill. So fantastic joint. Landlubbers, and they have 2 other locations. And Alex Sufrini, Degenerate. That'll be a great place to go for all of your playoff activities. All right, here we go. And we don't have the Polyman with us, but he will be back next week. And I'm going to be there forever, Dave.
Sure.
I think we're finally going to make it. Did I say syndication, Gurgles?
Exactly.
All right, here's Dave Gurgles Gurgley, probably paying tribute and homage to the Polyman, co-creator and inventor of the game, with some
Easy baseball. This Pirates outfielder, explaining their once again last place finish to a reporter, said, "Well, you can't expect Mr. Ed to keep up with Secretariat." What was that? Andy Van Slyke, Dick Van Dyke, Jerry Van Dyke, or Drayden Van Dyke?
All right, for technical purposes, we're going to roll the random phone scrambler. And our first player, one of our biggest fans and just a great American, Andy. You're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Andy.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm
Good to have
going
you with us.
Larry. I'm going Larry Keaton.
How you feeling, by the way, Andy? I mean, and what happened with the chick? That's the question of the day.
I'm still fucked up. I don't know if I got a call on top of this thing, but I haven't heard from her in the week. She goes back and forth to America and here. So she's
All right, very
a
good.
slow bird.
Yeah, Andy, the story goes out with a first-time starter at the Funky Biscuit, seeing the great Mike Zito, and a very tasteful move on your part, Andy, but ends up with like Omicron, both of them. Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, shortly thereafter. And then I started thinking, of course, not about you, Andy, but did I touch that guy's hand? No, maybe I got it. Anyway, you have 1 point. You're in the game, and we're glad you're okay.
All right, Andy, golf, true or false? Betty White, who we recently lost, learned to play golf with her late husband, Alan Ludden, the host of Password. And they were both members of Bel Air Country Club. Believe it or not, at one time in the late 1960s, Betty White had a 14 handicap at Bel Air Country Club. True or false?
I'm bad. I'm getting to do like Liddy on these, but I'll go with true.
I was like, wow, good for her.
She looked like she was 100 back then. What are you talking about, Betty White? Great performer. Had her in a Deadpool, Gurgles. Remember? And it was one of those things where how can you root for Betty White to check out? And then the omen was, and this is a bad sign. You talk about signs from the gods of gambling. She's on the People magazine cover talking about how great she feels to make 100.
Yep.
And then a week before that, 7.
Yep.
7 out.
And did you win it?
No, this was
no, because we had redrawn names
way
a few
back.
times. So I had her, and at one time I had John Madden. And, now I'm stuck because Terry Bradshaw looks like he's not about to check out anytime soon, right?
Well, you can ask Jimmy Johnson when you see him.
That happened once where, and I've told the story many times, where a certain friend of ours was in radio. He's in a Deadpool, and he's whining to me that he has to go put up another 100 for the Deadpool. And he says he's like 1,400 into this thing, that nobody's hit it in like a year and 2 months. So I asked him who he had, and he told me one of the guys he had was Whitey Ford. And I'm at the track out at Gulfstream, actually, and I'm at the Tiki Bar, and I see this guy, Johnny, used to own a restaurant in town. Johnny's, remember that place on University Drive? And real nice guy, right?
Yep.
I think he owned horses, got a lot of money. Good kid, man, always buying rounds of drinks for everybody. So I see Johnny say, hey, how you doing? He said, you won't believe this. I just played golf with Whitey Ford.
Oh, geez.
So asshole that I am, I immediately grabbed the phone and put him on with Peter Leonard, who was the guy who held the ticket. And I said, hey, I have a guy here that has an update on Whitey Ford's health. And he says, oh, Whitey's doing great. He shot a 78. He looked like he just went 8 for the Yankees. So you know how Peter is, man. He curses me out, man. I mean, just like tells me to lose his number, and every name he could think of. A psychotic rant he went on. And so the next day, I go out to the driveway and pick up the Sun Sentinel, and I see a headline, and it says Peter Graves from Mission Impossible checks out, and that was Leonard's other guy. Had no shot of checking out, right? Like out of nowhere. So you never know with Bradshaw, but it isn't necessarily a good thing to get an indicator from somebody else.
Well, there's a good shot Bradshaw may go. He may get shot by somebody when he's knocking on their door with the publishing clearinghouse. They're not going to believe him.
Yeah, they might think it was the cops. All right, we have Andy with a 3-point question coming up.
All right, Andy, baseball. Ray Fosse, who probably best remembered for the collision with Pete Rose in the All-Star game, in his 12-year career, played for 4 different teams. With what team did he end his career?
Right.
Was it the Cleveland Indians, the Seattle Mariners, the Oakland Athletics, or the Milwaukee Brewers?
Well, he started with Cleveland, so it's not Cleveland. I'm going Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yes.
Correct.
1979, the Brewers. Well done.
All right, you have a shot at 9 points here, Andy. If you get this one correct, you would obviously be setting the pace here in game number 1 of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And we're going to call this the championship game because we're just going to have one colossal game here today till about 8:30.
All right, hockey, Andy. Rod Gilbert, who passed away this year, was part of the Rangers' gag line, standing for goal a game, along with Jean Rattel and...
Oh, wow, that's a gimme for Andy.
Was it Brad Park?
Vic Hadfield.
There you go. He got it. I forgot he was a Ranger fan.
He's a big Ranger
I thought he would have said Andy Bathgate for sure.
I mean, Win Elliott calling the games on the radio.
Nice, Andy, man.
Hatfield, Gilbert, and Rattel, man. Great line, the gag line, call the game. They were fantastic in a great era of Ranger hockey. Right, good job, Andy.
Hang around,
Tallies 9 points, so he is setting the pace here of our colossal championship game of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, featuring the great Dave Gurgles Gurgley from Miami Lakes Country Club, Mike Lubitz from Parts Unknown, and me, of course, here in our digs at Lauderdale by the Sea, the fine new studios. I was glad to get the thumbs up from Jack Namer, because the man knows TV and says, "Hey, the thing looks good, very classy. What we've done here, and trying to improve the overall quality of the show." All right, you can dial us up if you want to play next at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. You know what an experiment in terror was to try and take calls on 1470 AM here in town, Gurgles, because the first call I got, I did a very brief stint there doing some sports talk shows when I was in between jobs. And so just to grind out a little bit of capital, I put something together there. And my very first call was Gilbert. You remember Gilbert?
Sure.
Yeah, the guy on the Neil Rogers show, he sounded a little bit impaired, you would have to say, at all times. I think he had some kind of physical disability. So, I don't, or mental, whatever. But, we don't mean to impugn the man's integrity in that regard. But he was the first caller to like every show. And it was one of those things where when you heard it on the air, you could see the program director running down the hall with a double-barrel shotgun saying, "You put that guy on?" So that was my big fear, but it turned out to be like, just like a regular Joe that called in, which was fantastic. All right, so you can dial us up here, regular Joe or not, and probably our next call, do you have Gilbert on hold? 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. More with Dave Gurgles Gurgley and the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Don't forget, once again, make sure you get those boxing tickets for January 28th. That's going to be a blast.
Yes.
Going to be a heck of a lot of fun. What a great night they put together there in the past when they did these boxing shows. And this one's going to be, I think it's going to be the most electrifying card that they put together yet. And Frank Fiore is all excited about it. All the people at Hialeah Park are getting behind it. They really throw themselves into these events. And I don't know that there's anybody better at staging these kind of events than the people at Hialeah Park. The grounds are impeccable. You always love walking in there. This is under the stars there, right by the apron of the track, outdoors.
Yep.
And the ringside seats are outdoors. If you're in the grandstand there, it's undercover. And no seat is a bad seat. And the atmosphere is electrifying. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're a boxing fan or not, if you've never been to a live event, we turned Lubie onto it. Big difference, huh? From watching, on TV with Marv Albert and the Fight Doctor back in the days with Robin Blake. Big difference if you're in there live and you see all of these exchanges taking place right in front of you, and you see the punches that are connecting and missed, and just absolutely fascinating stuff. Hialeah Park, January 28th, hialeahpark.com for tickets, and you're guaranteed to have a blast. We will guarantee that, right? Can we be sued if somebody went there and said, yeah, I had a lousy time?
Well, I'm not worried about it because they'll have a blast. So we don't have to worry about that.
Even the most cynical of human beings, if they go to this boxing event at Hialeah Park, will say, you know what? I hate to admit it, but I had a blast.
It rained for a little that one, and no one cared. No one left.
No.
Like, it was amazing. That's how fun it was.
We were just, cha-chaing in the aisles there, man. It was fantastic. Deontay Wilder was leading the cheers.
Great.
I mean, it's going to be wild times, man. There's that Latin flair that they have there at Hialeah Park. I mean, and it seeps in. I mean, even to a stodgy old Jew like me. You can't help but get infused with enthusiasm when you're at beautiful Hialeah Park. All right, we're coming back with more of the Trivia Challenge, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. And we'll play as many as we can. Gurgle's with us till 8:30 with the Colossal Championship game today on ION Channel. Jim Larranaga, looking very much forward to reconnecting with Jim Larranaga. The UM head basketball coach had a 9-game winning streak snapped the other night. You guys are crying, bad call. As much as I was rooting for Jim because I didn't want to be a jinx to the winning streak and what was going on at UM, I would say that the officials were not out of their range in making that call.
Yeah, there was contact. There was a foul, but it wasn't like blatant. It was like either way, you would have been like, all right, good call.
Yeah. If that guy was underneath the basket and got hammered and had his nose broken, they wouldn't have called.
They would have called nothing.
So Jim's going to join us later on. Now, we'll get his opinion on that thing. He's too gracious to say, what are you kidding me? We was robbed.
He didn't freak out. He didn't do anything. So
Nothing,
I was
man.
like, okay,
patted the official on the back and said, very bold call there in front of the home crowd, you asshole. No, he didn't say that. He's a much more dignified human being.
Yes.
Back with more of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge here on ION Channel in a moment. Mike Lubie, Lubitz, Dave Gurgles, Gurgley. I'm Jeff Deforrest. Coming back in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It is 8:03. My clock says 7.
Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not. Because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack. Corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. go to Even Keel Fish Sack, go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Hire Lisa Taus and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Are we all in stable but critical condition? Is that the way all life is, Lubie? In a
like
general, more figurative sense? Would you say you're in stable but critical condition? I believe you are right now.
Probably.
On the threshold of getting married in the early portion of 2021. Don't you think it's a little soon, kid? You barely notice woman. What are you
We've
doing?
been together 4 years.
Well, I guess you know enough.
How much longer do you want her to put up with me?
Is it you that's pushing for this?
It's equal. We're both very happy and in love. It's very gross.
Oh, my God. All right. It's a foreign concept. You have to understand where I'm coming from. 0 for 2 with a walk. And, right now I think I got a 3-2 count in marriage number 3. But and only because of the benefit of a really poor call on a ball that was clearly right down the middle of the plate. You know, one of those Angel Hernandez calls. Get out of here.
Enjoy your trip to work with lots of laughs thanks to Defo and Lubie. Now on the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. Good morning once again, everybody, here on Ion Channel. Happy to be with you. The Defo Show. Google the Defo Show if you want to catch the entire archives of programs that we put together. Quite a block of work already, Lubie.
Yes, sir.
And, nearly 3 months that we've been doing it, 2-3 months, just absolutely fantastic. Dave Gurgly is with us as we conduct the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge every Thursday, and that figures to pick up even more momentum next week with the proclaimed return of the Polyman to the program by whatever method of technology we have to use to incorporate them back into the program. All right, so we have people ready to play the game. We have had Andy tally 9 points, very successful. I don't know, did I ever answer that question about the Godfather movie and the name of the restaurant?
No.
Vincenzo's was the name of the restaurant. They were at Vincenzo's where, the guy says, try to veal, it's the best in the city, even though he was there to whack the guy. Unbelievable. At least he went out. His last meal was a good one, right? As if he had ordered it by choice. All right. 954-417-0070 is the number when there's a free line. We're going to get right back into the game. Jim Larranaga, the UM head basketball coach, going to join us about 8:30 this morning. So we'll ramp this thing up with the Trivia Challenge competition right around 8:30. So we'll get as many in as we can before we have to end that by television time limit. And here's Dave with our next set of questions.
Horse racing. This daily racing form columnist on a less than stellar Wednesday card at Tampa Bay Downs said, 8 of the 9 races Wednesday at Tampa Bay Downs are for contingent claimers or maiden claimers. The chance of a horse of note emerging from those races are about the same as the likelihood of Rob Gronkowski staying home on a Friday night.
Pretty far-fetched, yes.
That? Ira Kaplan, Ed Kaplan, Charlie Chaplin, or Charlie Chan?
Could have been Eddie K. He had that kind of dry sense of humor. All right, here's the scrambler, and our next player is Ron. Ron, welcome to the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Correct. Ron, in the game with 1 point.
Glad you found us, Ron. Spread the word. All right, your true or false question. Golf. LPGA Hall of Famer Judy Rankin said that she regularly used the horse drug butazolidine to help her ailing back while on the LPGA tour. True or false?
Sounds crazy enough to be true.
I'm thinking false.
It
is true.
It is true, yeah.
Wow. Did she also use Lasix and Sublimates? Anything along those lines?
No, she did play with blinkers on occasion.
Very good. 2 for 2, Ron. Going for 5.
All right, Ron, baseball. Hank Aaron, on April 23rd, 1954, hit the very first home run of his Major League Baseball career versus what pitcher or versus
Ooh.
Was it Bob Lemon, Vic Raschi, Hal Reniff, or Roger Craig?
Let's go with D.
I want to say D also.
D. Roger Craig? No, it was Vic Raschi of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Seemed like Roger Craig, if you follow baseball history, Gurgles, gave up every meaningful home run in the history of the game. And he was like a good pitcher, too.
I actually batted against him as a
Get out of here.
19-year-old in the Blue Mountain League in Pennsylvania. He was 42 out of the major leagues, playing in a little semi-pro league in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Yep, Roger Craig.
Roger
I
Craig.
forget
How'd you
what I
do?
did,
Did you
but
get a
yep.
hit off the guy?
I don't remember. It was that far back.
All right.
Anyway, 5-point question. ABA basketball. Should save this one for Lenny, but we'll use it on Ron. He's equally as astute. Jerry Harkness, who we lost this year, left his mark in the record books on November 13th, 1967, when he hit an 88-foot-long game-winning buzzer beater to lead his team, the Indiana Pacers, to a 119-118 win over.
Ooh. Wow, tough one.
Was it the Dallas Chaparrals, the Miami Floridians, the Houston Aeros, or the Kentucky Colonels?
Let's go Houston Aeros.
No, it was the Dallas Chaparrals.
Tough draw there, Ronnie. I mean, that was
It
very,
was.
very difficult. Even the true false was a very challenging question, as they usually are with Dave Gurgles Gurgley. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. You can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Wide open to get to the finals as we speak. As we had Andy come right out of the chute with a 9 spot there, and had a very, very tough true-false question that he missed. And, of course, Ron comes on, and then you buried him with some ABA stuff, which was great. So, anyway, very, very well done. Dave Gurgles Gurgley, Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. Don't forget about the championship.
By the way,
yes.
By the way, if you look over my shoulder here, it is the cigar of the year from Perdomo, the 10th anniversary Maduro. That's right. I went down to see Nick and the gang this week, and they had this poster there. And I said, Nick, you've been voted cigar of the year, the 10th anniversary Maduro, which is a great little cigar. It's a small one. This is you can get it in the Churchill style as well. It is a great bold smoke. If you like a lighter one, the Lot 23 or Edición de Silvio, but Perdomo Cigar is the place to go. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, 305-627-6700. Went in there yesterday to get cigars for right here at Miami Lakes Golf Club. We sell them right on the golf cart and in the snack bar here, and they were remodeling completely. So the place is looking better than ever. Go see Nick and the gang, 305-627-6700. Don't have a horse for you, but the Perdomo playoff pick is an upset over the ageless Tom Brady by none other than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
Watch out.
Eagles. Let's go.
Wow. That's a bold prediction there. Somehow I don't see that. But, yeah, Philadelphia didn't look that great to me. Jalen Hurts, so what's the story? He's playing, right?
Yes.
He's going to be
He's
back
playing.
in there?
Yep.
Okay, very good. So, you never know. In National Football League, look, who thought Jacksonville would beat Indianapolis, with Indianapolis only having to win to get into the postseason? And then that was just brilliant stuff right down to the final seconds there, where there was a possibility of that tie. And the Steelers fans, I mean, talk about your all-PA championship game. Steelers fans, I mean, had to be thinking, oh, my God, are you kidding me? They're going to take a knee? And sure enough, Staley calls that timeout. That was brilliant. All right, we're ready with more here on the Trivia Challenge, 954-417-0070. When that line is open, nice transition there into the Perdomo spot, Gurgles, which almost escaped me.
Yeah, Defo, we need to talk about some Perdomo.
I was having too much fun just being a part of this thing today here. I mean, it's wonderful, and I like the shirt a lot, Gurgles. Now, did you, Val? I mean, are you on some kind of New Year's resolution to trim the fat, so to speak?
Hey, you look good.
No, I'm just, I actually watched the story on the news about the guy in Honolulu who weighed 400 pounds and lost 200 pounds during the pandemic by just not going to work and exercising with his kids. And now he's a personal trainer. So I'm trying to ride in the 5th race against Gary Bain. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Dave Gurgles Gurgley, our next set of questions on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Here we go, golf. This golfer is talking about conditioning in less than physical condition. When asked by a reporter why he didn't get in better shape, said, listen, you can pull a muscle, but you can't pull fat. What's that? John Daly, Carson Daly, Kit Carson, or Kitty Carlisle?
That's great.
That sounds like logic that was derived from this show, doesn't it? You can pull a muscle, but you can't pull fat. All right, we pick up the random phone scrambler, and it leads us to Vincenzo, our good friend Vincenzo. Welcome to Ion Channel and the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, my friend.
Buongiorno. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, the answer
morning.
to that would be A.
A is correct.
Well done.
Spoken with authority. That's what we like.
Is this the guy that owned the restaurant in The Godfather?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay.
This is why. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I called. I had to look it up, but it wasn't Vincenzo's. It was Louis.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Yeah, it was.
There you go. We gave a wrong answer.
For like 20 years.
It shows you can't trust Google.
No. Listen, I have a trivia question for you guys that involves sports and The Godfather. Okay.
All right.
So
All
when
right.
the Michael Corleone character was being picked up by McCluskey and Salazzo and the driver, the wheelman, what bar was the character Michael Corleone standing outside in front of waiting to get picked up? I'll give you the 4 choices.
Okay.
All right.
Rocky Graziano's, Ray Robinson's, Joe Lewis's, or Jack Dempsey's.
It was Dempsey's.
Would it be D? I would go
Dempsey's.
Yeah.
Dempsey's
Dempsey's is, kind of a fabled bar there in Manhattan.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. It was. Very good.
All
Very
right.
good.
Who was one of the goons that was accompanying Joey Zaza to a meeting with Michael Corleone? What boxer?
Joey's. What boxer?
Yeah.
Tony Galenti.
No.
Two-ton Tony?
Vito Antifermo, of course, had to get into the Godfather movies. Are you kidding me? His picture's in every Italian restaurant in New York instead of the license. All right. We have to continue with the game here.
All right. Okay.
So, Vincenzo, are you ready? Here we go for a serious trivia
True or
challenge.
false question. True or false? Sticking with golf, believe it or not, 83-year-old former baseball player, now in the Hall of Fame, I believe, Jim Cott, recently shot his age 75 both right-handed and left-handed on a golf course.
Wow.
True or false?
False.
No,
Says
that's
false.
true.
That's true.
Yeah, at age 75, he shot a 73 and a 74. One right-handed, one left-handed. Unbelievable.
Great commentator. One of the best color analysts in all of sport, Jim Cott. I always
And
loved his
a
stuff.
great fielder as a pitcher. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Boxing, your 3-point question.
Vito Antifermo.
No.
Go ahead.
After defeating Muhammad Ali for the heavyweight championship, Leon Spinks was then stripped of his world title by the WBC for refusing to defend it against
Ooh, that's a good question.
Was it Joe Frazier, Ernie Terrell, Ken Norton, or George Saballo?
I think I'm going to go with Terrell.
I'm going to go Ken Norton.
No.
Is it C?
Ken Norton. He refused him. Who did he fight instead, Jeff?
He fought Ali again, right?
That's right.
In a rematch,
Exactly.
yeah.
All right.
Which everybody
Give him
wanted to
the
see Ali
Landlubber
get the title back because Leon met a tragic death, a couple of years ago, and lived a very tough life after his career in boxing. Michael Spinks, you don't hear much about anymore. Although he was kind of intelligent with his money and the way he managed his career, especially by comparison to Leon, who was one big hot mess, but a likable one. All right, 5-point question for you, Vincenzo. This will put you right into second place and maybe in the finals.
All right, we lost a great one. We lost a great one recently with John Madden, and he was drafted, believe it or not, in the NFL in the 21st round, the 244th overall pick in 1958 by what team? Was it the Giants, the Bears, the 49ers, or the Eagles?
Wow. I'm going to go with the Bears.
Bears.
No, it was none other than
the Eagles,
the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know everything had to do with the Eagles on this show. With Gergels all in and ready to go make a bet on the Eagles meeting the Steelers in the Super Bowl this year. The all Pennsylvania
I'll take the
Super
money
Bowl.
line against. I'll take the money line against Tampa first. All right,
Money line against Tampa first. That's a strong hold.
Yeah, it's got to be 3-1. All right.
All right, Lubie, we're going to set up the finals here. And obviously, Andy is in as one of the contestants. And then you can draw from any of the people that either played the game or were looking to play the game as the other contestant.
It was Ron and Vincenzo were tied with 1. And Vincenzo backed his way.
Vincenzo wins the draw.
Right.
Okay. Very nice. So we're going to square off Andy.
Man, and then we'll get the finals going.
And Vincenzo. Now, if the Polyman were here, he would tell you about the Magic City Casino. Of course, very respectable place. And he's always there in that sports bar that they have, giving away stuff, and they have all kinds of contests and things. And then, the other thing that's always prominent here on this show is Dave Gurgles Gurgly and Perdomo Cigars, which I wasn't paying fair homage to. Because the great Nick Perdomo, I met him the first time I physically met Nick Perdomo was on a red eye out of Las Vegas. He had been at some cigar convention, was really just getting started. They were just dusting his name off there. And he naturally was a big smash hit there. And within a couple of years, he was like the number 3 cigar manufacturer in the world, or deemed to have the third best cigar, in the world. So great guy and makes a great product.
That's right. And you can call them at 305-627-6700 or go online, www.perdomocigars.com, and see the great cigars they make. They make them perfect one at a time, whether it's a box as a gift for someone or whether you say, you know what, I'm new to cigars. Tell me I want a milder cigar, a Churchill. Lauren will help you. She's the daughter-in-law of Nick Perdomo, married to Nick Jr. She'll direct you into the humidor built by our late great friend, the Mad Dog Jim Mandich, and you can make your selection at Perdomo Cigars, 305-627-6700 or www.perdomocigars.com.
All right, we set for the finals. Mike Lubitz, what do you think? You feel confident in this thing as we continue? And now we'll conclude our colossal game of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, brought to you by the great people at Hialeah Park. Wonderful job. El Boxeo coming up on January 28th. That's going to be a dynamite show. And, of course, you can always enjoy the great vibe that you get whenever you enter the casino there in Hialeah Park. The poker room is absolutely delightful. And, of course, we love the Champion Simulcasting Room with the Brass Rail Bar, the Crossover Cafe. You can get food and drink from anywhere in the house there. And it's always great stuff. And as we love to say, not at ballpark prices. So you don't have to worry about a face rake when you go to the concession stands at beautiful Hialeah Park. All right, set for the finals here. We have Andy and Vincenzo. Guys, call out your name if you want to answer right away. Nobody answers right away. Gurgles will offer multiple choice. First person to call out his name gets first choice. We go back and forth until we have a winner. Good luck for the championship of our colossal game of this week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge and a permanent place in the Ion Channel Contest Hall of Fame. Good luck, gentlemen. Here's Dave with the question.
All right, tribute to our late great friend Sam Jones, Leslie Visser. This one's for you too. Sam Jones, in his junior year at college, after his junior year at North Carolina Central, was drafted in the 8th round by what NBA team? He decided to stay in school, promising his mom he'd get his degree in education. But after his junior year, drafted in the 8th round by what NBA team?
Anybody? All right, here's multiple choice.
All right, was it the Cincinnati Royals, the Philadelphia Warriors, the St. Louis Hawks, or the Minneapolis Lakers?
Andy. I'll go
Andy.
with St. Louis.
St. Louis. What is that, a thumbs down,
Incorrect.
girls? Okay, incorrect.
It's incorrect. I'll
Three
say
left.
now that it's verbal, yeah.
3 left for Vincenzo.
Vincenzo, was it the Philadelphia Warriors, the Cincinnati Royals or the Minneapolis Lakers?
I'll go Lakers.
Lakers.
That's correct. The
Correct.
Minneapolis
All right.
Lakers.
Nice job. Very good job there,
Stayed in
Vincenzo.
school and came out as a first rounder for the Celtics. God bless you, Sam.
Vincenzo, I will be getting in touch with you, so just hang around. Thanks a lot, guys, for playing. Appreciate it.
I'm getting some feedback here on the chat line also. On the I had it as Vincenzo's was the name of the restaurant that had the best veal in the city. And that was something that I Googled earlier this morning. And a gentleman named John McKeon says, wasn't Vincenzo's the name to the Michael Corleone trivia question? So, and Vincenzo himself disputes this.
Everything's Vincenzo.
So, we lead the league. We majored in confusion in college, and we are exhibiting that throughout our professional lifetime and careers. Yes, Kirkle.
Yeah, but you were right. You were right. I think Dewey did defeat Truman, didn't he?
Well, he was up at post time, whenever they but a steward's inquiry took place on that one, and as it did with both of the Trump deals, right? Yeah. So all right, we're so happy you joined us here, Gurgles. Nice job. I'm glad you got everything straightened out. We were able to conduct a reasonably close facsimile to what we like to do in the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, so we're happy about that. Thank you, people, for calling in and playing. It was great, and congratulations to Vincenzo, who wins the gift certificate to Landlubbers and also becomes into the and gets an automatic entry into the Ion Channel Contest Hall of Fame. I think that's quite a distinction.
Beautiful.
All right, Gurgles, we'll see you next week, my friend. Thanks so much for being with us.
We love you, Gurgles.
Dave Gurgles.
My pleasure.
Always
Got
great.
it, guys.
Dave Gurgles Gurgly. All right, coming up in just a few minutes here on the program, little college hoops. It's been a great story. It's flown under the radar, including ours. As Jim Larranaga, the head coach at the University of Miami, is going to join us. Hialeah Park, of course, huge boosters at the University of Miami. So they're very happy about what's being accomplished right now. The Brunetti family, always very generous with their charitable contributions to the University of Miami and cancer research and all the stuff that goes on there. They really do a lot of wonderful things in conjunction with each other. So it's appropriate here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge to bring you Jim Larranaga. That's always a lot of fun for us to talk basketball and hoops with Jim Larranaga. That's coming up in just a few minutes here on the Defo Show on Ion Channel. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. I'm going to go with Vincenzo's, Lubie, as the name of the restaurant. And Vincenzo himself said it was Lou's, which, how do we verify that? If you got conflicting information on the internet.
You're going to have to watch the movie.
You're going to watch the scene, yeah. I don't want to dispute Vincenzo's opinion about Vincenzo's. He may be right, but that's what I had. That's what John has on the chat line. So if you guys want to weigh in on this thing and settle the trivia challenge about the Godfather movie, what was the restaurant where supposedly they had the best veal in the city, where Michael whacked the cop and the other mafioso guy that was going against him? All right. We're coming back with Jim Larranaga, UM head basketball coach. A little, change of pace here, right? We're going to run some full here with Jim Larranaga in just a moment on the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz here on Ion Channel. Google the Defo Show. You get the audio and video stream. And we'll be back with Jim Larranaga in just a minute. Now that.
The time.
It is 8:28.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes, because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy, with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Jim Larranaga, we love you, Jim Larranaga. Coach Larranaga, won't you do us a favor? Bring us a winner, one stinking winner. Deliver a winner in this town filled with losers.
Buenos dias. The cafecito is piping hot. Why not enjoy it with Defo and Lubie? It's now time for the Defo Show.
Very appropriately celebrated in song here on the program. Jeff Deforrest, Michael Lubitz, the Defo Show here on Ion Channel, streaming live audio and video around the universe. And it's always great. I mean, this gentleman, for us, a basketball treasure chest right here in our midst. And we feel like we became fair weather, bandwagon jumping friends, because we wait until he beats Duke and once again finds a way to just befuddle Coach K at Cameron Indoor with these crazy nutbags just yelling and screaming and trying to intimidate the hell out of his team. Goes in there and beats Duke. And that's when we say, hey, you know what? We ought to have Jim Larranaga on the show. But Jim, I assure you, you're always in our hearts. And, the incredible thing is, though, it did seem like this team was flying and literally flying under the radar, throughout this whole 9-game winning streak that you percolated, and then finished that off with a big win on the road against Duke. How are you, Jim? Good to have you on the program.
I'm good. I always like talking to the guys who jump on the bandwagon midway through.
Then on top of that, I mean, this was frustrating for me because, we've often thought, well, maybe, the people that come on a show go through a little bit of the Sports Illustrated cover jinx. And you've always been very bold and very gracious with your time and accommodating to us on our request to have you on. And we genuinely love that. But I moved and I'm going through all kinds of cable TV hell. And then finally, by some accident, after not having it for years, I have the ACC network. So I figure, okay, Jim Larranaga's coming on the show on Thursday. Let me watch the game against FSU. I hope you don't consider, that might have been a little bit of a jinx, because that was a hell of a ball game, but, a real tough way to end the 9-game winning streak.
Well, it's funny. On Saturday, we beat Duke, and with 8 seconds left, we're up 2, and Duke has the ball, and they shoot a 3 for the win, and they miss. So we end up winning by 2. We go to FSU. We take a 1-point lead with 7 seconds to go, and they go in for a driving layup, and unfortunately, there's a foul called, and they make 2 free throws to beat us at the end. So, these ACC games are always a challenge. They're always very, very competitive. We beat Syracuse by 1, then Duke by 2, and then lose by 1 to Florida State on the road. But Florida State is like 85-5 at home in the last 5 years. So
not bad.
they were awfully good. The place was packed and the band was going crazy. So I'm excited about the way my team is playing.
They had some real nutbags in the stands. There's no question. Lubie used to be one of them there. And do you get that call or make that call in the park if you're calling fouls on yourself? Do you get that call at the end of the game? What do you think? Because we've had some debate about it. I mean, by the book, it was a foul. If the guy's under the basket and his nose got broken and was shattered into several pieces, they probably wouldn't have called anything in that spot. What did you think? Honestly, not to criticize the officials, but just in general. About that call.
Well, I grew up playing in the park in a place called Parkchester in the Bronx, and if any of my competitors had called that a foul at the end of a 1-point game, there would have definitely been fisticuffs.
Somebody would have had his nose broken. You got it. You got what? Would have been their reaction there. Yeah, I mean, it was a tough way, definitely, to lose a ball game. But talk about the rise of this team, because you have like a veteran team. Last year, you guys were just absolutely, blindsided and bombarded by all kinds of different things, injuries, COVID. So it was a real tough season. How did you manage to sneak into the season with a team that was, and still is atop the ACC?
Well, here's the situation. We have 3 guys in our starting lineup that did not play last year. Sam Wardenberg plays the 5 for us now. Sam broke his foot last year, did not play at all. He was a tremendous loss. Charlie Moore, a transfer from DePaul, a 6-foot point guard, is having a dynamic year. He's a transfer, and it took him a little while to get totally comfortable running the team and being very aggressive, which he is, and he's doing a great job at both ends of the court. And then Jordan Miller, a transfer from my old school, George Mason, has fit in beautifully. He's a glue guy. He's a jack of all trades, does a lot of different things for us. So you add those 3 starters to our 2 returning leading scorers, Isaiah Wong and Cam McGusty, and that's put together a starting 5 that really plays well together. They share the ball together, and they work very, very hard defensively. Now we're trying to develop our bench. Our benches has not been as strong consistently as our starters have been. For example, against Florida State, we got outscored by the bench players by Florida State 25-0.
Oh.
But against Duke, our bench played terrific, and we outscored their bench. So it's just a little inconsistency of our players who come in off the bench. They're good players. They're young players. 2 of them are freshmen, and one is a player who has been injured throughout his career, Dan Gack. So we need our bench to step up and help us a little bit more. Because our schedule now, I've told everybody, hey, the ACC regular season is a marathon, not a sprint. We've played 6 games. We're 5-1. We sit atop of the ACC. But our next 2 games are against North Carolina, who's playing great right now, and Florida State, who just beat us. So we've got 2 amazing opponents coming in next Tuesday, 8 o'clock at the Watsco Center. I'm hoping we have a crowd like Duke had, like Florida State had, to cheer on the Hurricanes. And then we got Florida State coming in, and it's the rematch. So this next week, Tuesday and Saturday, we've got 2 big home games.
We're talking with men's basketball coach, the one and only Coach Jim Larranaga. The Canes 5-1 in the ACC, 13-4 overall. Very great. Starting with to go off, piggyback off of what Defo said, Coach. It's fun. We have you on every year, and we love talking to you because you not only know the game, but you're honest. You're honest about your team. You're honest about the ACC. You're honest about the game at large. And you and your people have said for years now, we've been injured. If we were just not injured, watch. I'm telling you, we have a team here. Watch. You're finally healthy, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is like you just said, you finally have your team there, and it's taking the country by storm.
Well, if you look at the NBA, they're a perfect example. Every team that has had injuries has struggled.
Yep.
And whenever one of your top players is out of the lineup for an extended period, you just don't play quite as well. One of the things I am proud of, I told you about our bench, but Sam Wardenberg had COVID issues, and he missed 2 games, and Dan Geck stepped in and helped us win both those games. So we know our bench is capable. We just know that, when they don't play well, we're just not as good.
You've always appeared to be the epitome of calm. Coach Jim Larranaga with us here on ION Channel, the UM head basketball coach. Just had a 9-game winning streak snapped after beating Duke at Cameron Indoor, and 7-7 at UM against Duke, which I'm sure most coaches would love to go 500 against Coach K. How good did it feel? I mean, were you able to, suppress the smile until you got on a bus to leave Cameron Indoor with a victory? I mean, as a coach, coming out of there with a win has to be just awfully satisfying.
What do you mean? To beat the winningest coach in college basketball history? Oh, no, that was nothing. I mean, that was just easy. Hey, the great thing about it, we beat Jim Boeheim, the number 2 winningest coach in college basketball history. Yep. And we crushed the Syracuse 88-87. I mean, that you win by 1, you win by 2, but then you lose by 1. The feeling is just so different after a win and after a loss. And yes, after the Duke win, when the guys on the team got on the bus, it was celebratory, but it was short-lived.
Yeah.
We got back at 3:00 in the morning. I had Sunday to rest and recover, and Monday we were back on a plane to get to Tallahassee to play Florida State on Tuesday. We got back 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning after the game. So my coaching staff, Chris Caputo, my associate head coach, Bill Courtney, and DJ Irving, my assistants, do a fantastic job of preparing these guys one game at a time. You can't get too high after a win. You can't get too down after a loss. It's all about being consistent and having the energy to put forth the effort and the execution to beat these high-quality teams in the ACC.
How much value does it have? I mean, obviously it's huge because the country took notice of the University of Miami. And, it was great. And I felt really good for you, Coach Larranaga, because every highlight for the next few days was of those final moments against Duke. And, that has to help in getting recognition from the kind of players that you're trying to recruit from different places around the country to get that kind of spotlight and focus on the program in that much of a favorable situation.
Well, what was great, I got text messages from our 4 recruits, 4 terrific high school players. Our recruiting class is ranked in like the top 15 or 20 in the country.
Yeah, it's a great class.
We have 4 players who are going to provide us some much needed size. We got a 6'6", 6'8", 6'9", and 6'10" coming for next year. And we're very excited about those 4 guys. We still have 2 scholarships to give. So we'll be in the transfer market come April. And, I think things are heading back in the right direction after we were decimated with injuries last season.
Coach Jim Larranaga with us here on ION Channel, the Defo Show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubie, Lubitz, streaming audio and video around the world. All right, and you just joined the ranks of some very distinguished coaches, winning 150 games at 3 different schools. It's a very small list, and you started to mention the distinctions of Coach K. This his final season. As somebody that's been doing it a long time yourself, Coach Larranaga, how would you characterize? I mean, if you could give us a synopsis of what coaches think about Coach Krzyzewski and the career that he's had and what he has or has not meant to the game, how would you characterize that?
Well, I would say he's been an inspiration for a lot of coaches. I think a lot of coaches, high school coaches, college coaches have emulated what Duke has done throughout Coach K's career. He's written more books and done more instructional videos. He's lectured around the country, done clinics, and has shared his philosophy and his personal journey. I think he's a remarkable leader. He's, in my mind, the first corporate leader in college basketball. And by corporate, I mean he not only lectures at clinics about basketball, but he lectures about leadership. He's with the Washington Speakers Bureau, and corporations hire Coach K to come in and speak to their executives as to how to be organized and disciplined and lead your organization. So he's done an amazing job. I'm actually surprised that he's retiring, because obviously Duke is still winning. He's still able to recruit the top players in the country. And he's turning his program over to John Shire, one of his former players, who has been acting as his associate head coach for the last several years. So he's going to keep it in the family. It's a program that has tremendous tradition. It's one of the winningest basketball programs in college basketball history. If you look at the top, it's Kentucky, Carolina, Kansas, Duke. Right? Those four are the Mount Rushmore of college basketball. And if you were looking at coaches, you'd have Coach K and Dean Smith on Mount Rushmore, along with probably John Wooden. And maybe now the newest member would be John Calipari, who's done it for a very long time as well, or possibly even Roy Williams.
Eloquent and illustrative as always, Jim Larranaga. I did want to say congratulations because of your ties to Bowling Green and one of my favorite players ever. I would imagine there might be a statue of Howard Butch Comives at Bowling Green outside the Athletic Center, who was named inside the top 100 of New York Knicks ever. Were you a Knick fan growing up, coach in New York? Because Butch Comives, left-handed shooter, and point guard, and was part of a big deal. I guess the trade for Dave DeBusschere. He went with Bells Bellamy to Detroit for Dave DeBusschere. And I don't know, was he an icon at Bowling Green, Butch Comives? He made it like number 93 Knick all time.
Well, Butch Comives was certainly an icon with the New York Knicks, top 100. And he teamed with Nate Thurmond at Bowling Green.
Jeez.
Wow.
give them one of the best 1-2 punches in the country.
Oh my God.
I got to know Butch pretty well back in the early 90s when I recruited his son, Shane Comives, who was also an outstanding, hard-nosed, left-handed three-point shooter, very much like his dad. And Butch would come to the games. I got to visit with him. He loved basketball. Butch was one of those guys that you love to have on your team because he was as tough as nails. And he and Nate Thurmond, are legendary at Bowling Green. I coached at Bowling Green for 11 years and loved every minute of it.
Always great. I mean, anytime we hit you with this nostalgic stuff, it's always fascinating, the detail that you have on these players. He was one of my favorites to watch there growing up as a kid there, and we were always rooting for the Knicks. And I guess it turned out to be, very fortunate for the Knicks that they did deal him because DeBusschere was part of one of the great assemblages of basketball talent of that era and maybe of any with those Knicks teams that won the championships. Jim, always a pleasure. Congratulations. And thanks so much. We're not bandwagon jumping, I assure you. You're always welcome on this show. We always love talking to you. It's fascinating. And congratulations on all the success of the team and continued success this year. Thanks so much for being with us. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks so much. Jim Larranaga, man.
I was like, what is he doing?
Knocked it out of the park again, this guy. It's unbelievable.
Why are you bringing up Butch
Comives? Because he was a big star at Bowling Green, as you can imagine. And, Jim Larranaga coached there. It was part of his trilogy of 150-win schools. And I'm thinking that I didn't know that Nate Thurman also was a Bowling Green guy. Did you, Lubie? That was educational for me.
That's amazing. Like that tandem must
And they were on the same team.
Are you kidding me? Nate Thurman's a Hall of Famer. Like that's a nuts, and Comize is a legend. Like that's a ridiculous.
So it was on what should have been a decent configuration of Knicks, right? I mean, Dick Barnett and Butch Comize were the backcourt. And you had Walt Bells Bellamy at center, who was an excellent player and was able to go toe-to-toe with Russell and Chamberlain, and actually played his best basketball against the two greats of the era, and was sort of mediocre against the rest of the lot. That was kind of a weird circumstance for Walter Bells Bellamy. And I don't remember the other two players that were in the starting lineup at the time, so I would imagine that they were somewhat inconsequential. But I do remember Comize, and as I said, Louis, I was a stat freak back then, and I considered the barometer for any shooting guard or any outside shooter to hit somewhere around 50%.
Yeah, you want
that 50. Was the Mendoza line for me, and he was like, I don't know. I think if you look up his shooting percentage lifetime, it might have been under 40. Which was uncommon because they weren't chucking 50-footers back then. You didn't have those stat lines like we were talking about yesterday with Trae Young, who, by the way, I mean, how bad are the Hawks? They've lost 9 straight home games, including getting trounced last night. This was a team that was supposed to be, Lubie, as they say, on the come, as in COME.
Well, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know. I mean, the Heat annihilated them, and they're still missing Bam, and Butler's still working his way into things. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Scrubs. I mean, how great of a coach is Eric Spoelstra?
Oh, Cole Spoelstra. Strus is now, people are questioning him over Robinson, this guy, Yurtseven.
Strus looked good in the spotty play that he got in the past. So maybe Spoelstra was holding him back.
Well, no,
anytime he came in, I thought, well, this guy looks pretty good. What's wrong with him? Except that he's an unknown and looks like it's Scribini time, right, when he comes into the ballgame. And then they got this center that is, from Armenia? Who is this guy?
Yurtseven or whatever. Yurtseven.
Yeah.
People love this guy. Like, he's working with Zoe now personally. Like, he's going to be like one of the Rookie of the Year candidates.
He's kind of an athletic-looking Ronnie Cycli.
Yes, that's what he looks like. He looks like a more coherent, less stumbly.
Less robotic, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be the word you were looking for, Libby. Robotic. Which we are about this show, as we're about to. I mean, a lot of fun today, huh? I mean, that was great. Great response there on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge portion of the program. I have to tell you, people, I mean, Jim Larranaga is just such a pleasure
I love talking
to listen to, talking about basketball. And I do remember some people hooting and hollering, including your man, Armando Salguero. He was doing a radio show screaming, how could they hire a guy 61 years old?
Who cares?
What brilliance from this man today. That was fantastic. One of my favorite interviews that we conduct on these programs. head basketball coach Jim Larranaga. And as I said, Lubie, is he not a veritable basketball treasure chest?
Oh, it's the best. I'm like, Comize. I'm like, I know he's the best, but why are you going Comize? And then he's like,
Comize.
Yeah, he was with Thurman, and I recruited his son. We're best friends.
I know him well.
Of course.
Loved having him around. We've thrown a lot of obscurities at him. Eddie Malloy, the high school star from Long Island.
He's like, Eddie, yeah, he
Dean
had a
the
great
Dream
jumper.
Meminger. He knew everything about Dean the Dream Meminger, who was a popular player in New York, but probably not that well known. He had a great college career at Marquette. And what was, not really, his skills didn't necessarily translate well to the NBA. It happens with a lot of college quarterbacks, right?
Yes.
Where, he had a marginal point average. I guess he was a contributor on a couple of teams. Dean the Dream Meminger. And then Larranaga just tees off, right? And, you're thinking, hey, Jim, I know you got things to do, but, he'll sit there and tell you about this guy for 20 minutes. How can you not love it if you're in my seat or doing what Lubie's doing? It's fantastic.
I love talking to Larranaga. That's why it's not like we hop on the bus, the bandwagon. We've been fans of him from the beginning.
Yes. Even while his teams were struggling, we still liked having him on just to illuminate college basketball, which in South Florida, where we are, I mean, the rest of the country, there are places where there's an obsession with it.
Yes, the Northeast.
And that's great. I love it. I mean, the spirit of the games is fantastic. Those guys at FSU, did you see those maniacs in the crowd, those kids?
Oh, no. What's so funny is the Tuck was like some schmanky convention center when I went to school. And in the last 15 years, it's become
Leonard Hamilton.
Home court advantages. And literally, they're like 44-5 in the ACC in the last 50. They won like 80 something out of their last 9. Like, that home court is nuts, and they really take the basketball seriously. And it was really cool. That game
what
was
it like 88-5 or something? You said, and then you could hear in Jim's voice a very classy and dignified way of suggesting, "Hey, Miami,
Yes, he said it.
Wake the
Come
fuck
on.
up. Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
come
I
on.
mean, let's get into this, right? You just beat Duke by 2 points. It's every video you see, highlight from last week's action has the clip of Miami getting the last basket and then Duke missing at the buzzer. All right, we're going to come back and wrap things up. A lot of fun today. I really enjoyed being with you. Tomorrow, a Deal Volkswagen Degenerate Friday brought to you by the people of Gulfstream Park. And the championship meet is on there. And you can bet it at Hialeah Park, which is always part of the fun there. And so very exciting things. And we'll have that for you tomorrow with Mark Lawrence handicapping the pro games. He's been dynamite all season long. What brilliant logic. I don't know how he did last week, but I was buying into it. Whatever it was that he was saying. He was really on his game last week, Mark Lawrence. So he'll join us again tomorrow here on Ion Channel, your degenerate handicapping station, your contest station. And I mean, it's where you're going to find love and peace here, streaming audio and video all year long, 2022. Back to wrap things up in just a second. Now that
The time.
probably should have gone right out the door. It's,
We could just go to break and leave.
I don't want to do that. All right, we'll just
be right back.
Skip the commercials here. You know, people are aware of all of our fine sponsors: Destination Sport Miami and Deal Volkswagen, Gulfstream Park, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. Got all of our restaurants there with the Gambling Gourmet, who'll be with us tomorrow as well. So what is the final resolution of the name of the restaurant? I want to believe Vincenzo that it was not Vincenzo's.
Vincenzo said it.
He sounded like he was very much in a no, and I guess all you have to do is watch the scene, which I didn't do because they showed an awning with the name Vincenzo's on it as the answer to the question, what was the name of the restaurant where the veal is the best in the city in the movie The Godfather? And that remains in dispute. And Vincenzo said it was Lou's, which I think, now that I'm thinking about it, this was early this morning when I was still a little delirious from lack of sleep. I might have seen Lou's also as one of the answers, but this was very definitive. The answer I looked up was Vincenzo's, and yet they had the clip and I didn't watch it. So what do you think?
Good job by you. And Lawrence was 1-1 last week. 1-1.
Okay. Well, you know what? You can't win them all. Let's put it that way.
No.
But he's on a huge upside for the season and always picking the underdog in games. I don't know if these underdogs, who do you really like, Lubie? I don't see the Patriots. The conditions are ideal for the Bills. It's going to be absolutely freezing and, wild wind gusts and everything that they were built for. Now, the Patriots are not, unfamiliar with those kind of circumstances playing at what? Is it still Gillette Stadium?
Yeah. Is it Gillette?
Okay. Gillette, they still make razor blades?
I think they do make razor blades, but I don't know if the Patriots Stadium is.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. The Patriots are not unaccustomed to those
It is
kind of
Gillette.
conditions.
Good job by you, Gillette. It's still
Yeah.
Gillette. Good job
All
by
right.
you.
Well, that's what I figured. All right. So I kind of like the Bills in that game, even laying the 4 and a hook. I don't know. Is that
I don't know
Chuck
if you
City?
can run it 60 times and win again. So they did it once. It worked good for them. And then the next time the two played in better weather, the Bills dominated, and I think that's what's going to happen again.
Bills are playing a little better brand of football right now. I mean, I'm just talking about not for long, the NFL, Jerry Glanville thing, speaking of trivia quotes. I mean, right now, they seem to be on a little bit of a run. They're kind of finding themselves again after that hideous loss to Jacksonville. And the Patriots have been so-so, including losing to the Dolphins in a game that, at least originally, it looked like, did it not look like they were trying to win that game?
Yes, 100%. They wanted that
And
game.
they got buried right at the start and never really raised much of a gallop after that. So I kind of like the Bills in that game. I know 4 and a hook is maybe a lot, to concede to Belichick under the don't bet against the devil theory that we applied to Nick Saban, although that didn't work out so well for us the last time it was applied. I have no great feeling for the Buccaneers and Eagles game, except I'm not a big fan of the Eagles even being in the postseason. They don't impress me that much.
I love Gurgles. I think the Bucks win that soundly. I'll be rooting for the Eagles, but I think the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks go as far as people are predicting them to, but I think they get out of this round.
I know they came back from the grave 17-0. They were down, and then 17-3 at halftime, and they came up with a miracle drive late, and Garoppolo was in there, hanging in there with the busted thumb. But I wasn't overwhelmingly impressed, really, with the 49ers, and they have to go on the road against the Cowboys. And that's a 3-point line. The Cowboys, are capable of doing some great things, are they not?
Yeah.
As much as I am being, I'll be rooting against them. I don't know. It's hard to see the Cowboys not prevailing there. That's all chalk so far. Buccaneers, I don't know about laying 8 and a hook with anybody, but they seem to be, more than happy to go ahead and pour it on in their recent efforts. So that might be something that.
The one upset I can't see is that Niners.
Where's the upset? Yeah, where's the upset?
Niners are the one because the Cowboys have played better defense. They played good offense, but Dak always seems to fall flat in the big moments. They've had some injuries. They've had some issues. And I don't really trust Mike McCarthy. Whereas the Niners, is whatever you want to say about Shanahan when it gets to Super Bowls, he's going to be 40 gets there.
Well, maybe you learn his lesson. I don't know. Is it possible that he looked at that?
The Niners have played really well lately. So, like, of the upset possibilities, that's the best one to me is the Niners. And the spread's not crazy either.
It shows you how rough the NFL has been this year with COVID and all the different things that have happened and the grind of now a 17-game, 18-week schedule. This was kind of an oddball note, like maybe should have been covered in the Agate type. Eric Weddle was signed by the Rams. He hasn't played since 2019, and they desperately need somebody in the secondary.
That was like
Eric Weddle.
I was like,
imagine, and he's going to play like in a playoff game. I guess. I don't know.
Eric Weddle.
My God. No, but I mean, how do you sign a guy that hasn't played in 2 years? You'd be questioning the Bet's secretariat off a 2-year layoff if the horse was going against a bunch of cheap claimers at Beulah Park, much less sign a guy that hasn't played in the NFL in 2 years. And there had to be a reason that he didn't have a job, and that was that nobody thought he was very good anymore. All right, that's going to do it for us. A lot of people don't think we're any good anymore, but we're coming on. We're rising like a phoenix here on Ion Channel, Jack Namer's Fine Network. Amy, thank you for your support. Always appreciate it. Brad Schiller, technical support. Worked out well today. See that, Lubie?
Good job.
It took us 6 weeks to get that Gurgles problem solved. That's our fault. All right, but we'll see you tomorrow. Deal Volkswagen Degenerate Friday, brought to you by Gulfstream Park. Our thanks, as always, to Frank Fiore and all of the great people. Dennis Testa, the Brunettis, Steve Calabro, Ray Martinez. I mean, just so many good people involved with Hialeah Park, and we can't wait to get down there. Get your boxing tickets for January 28th. Going to be a blast. Thanks to Gurgles for doing the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Great stuff there. That's archived if you want to catch the interview and you missed part of it or whatever, or just tuned in and said, hey, where's Larranaga?
He was great.
Jim Larranaga, great stuff with the UM head basketball coach. For Mike Lubitz, I'm Jeff Deforrest. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 on the East Coast as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:02.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.